On the surface, it looks like the American economy is living its best life. The stock market keeps smashing records, inflation finally seems to be calming down, and fast food chains are now selling things like steak nuggets. Everything feels normal, maybe even great. But that's just the shiny layer on top. Because underneath the confidence, the headlines, and the endless debates about interest rate cuts or whether a certain TV host's hair is even real, something far more serious is building quietly in the background. A credit storm. A storm that almost nobody is paying attention to. And while everyone is pointing fingers at the US government for spending money faster than a Miami bachelor party at 2 a.m., the real plot twist is this. Americans saw that spending and thought, why don't we try that too? And they did. Hard. Household debt, mortgage debt, auto debt, student loans, credit card balances, all at all-time highs. The truth? Americans are slipping deeper and deeper into debt. By the time you finish this video, you'll see that the growth being celebrated isn't actually growth at all. It's a giant tower built on consumer borrowing, and the cracks are already showing. Let's zoom out, way out. The United States now holds more debt than any country in human history. The national debt has crossed $38 trillion, and even worse, borrowing isn't free. Every year, the government pays $1 trillion just in interest. Think about that, not paying off debt, not reducing it, just keeping it from collapsing. America now spends more on interest than it does on national defense, social support programs, and even veteran benefits. And interest payments have exploded by 34% in just 2 years. In simple terms, $1 trillion a year just to keep collectors from knocking. But here's the twist. The government isn't the only one overspending. The rest of America is copying the same strategy. If Uncle Sam can max out every card in his wallet, why shouldn't regular people do it too? And they have. Hard. Household debt, mortgage debt, auto debt, student loans, credit card balances, all at all-time highs. The truth? Americans are slipping deeper and deeper into debt. Despite the painful truth, debt isn't actually new. It's been around forever, just in the form of IOUs and bartering instead of credit cards and mortgages. Debt comes in 3 flavors: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start with housing debt, the good kind. Housing debt divides into 2 pieces: mortgages and home equity lines of credit. Mortgage debt, the big one. These are the long-term loans people take to buy homes. Closed-end loans, you receive the money up front, pay it back monthly, and the account closes when you're done. In reality, it's the massive decades-long bill you accept so you can own 4 walls and a ceiling. Mortgage debt accounts for the majority of all household debt in America. Today, total mortgage balances sit at $13 trillion, a record high. 2. Home equity lines of credit, or HELOCs. This is basically a credit card for your house. Use your house's value, borrow against it, pay it off, repeat. HELOC balances have risen 30% since 2021, the fastest increase since before the 2008 crash. And the total amount remains around $411 billion, not enough to set off major alarms. If housing debt is the responsible sibling in the family, then non-housing debt is the wild child. And now we enter dangerous territory: non-housing debt. This includes student loans, auto loans, credit card debt, and other consumer loans. Auto loans and miscellaneous categories are stable for now, but student loans and credit cards? That's where the storm is forming. Student loan debt, America's most expensive adulthood initiation. College costs have skyrocketed because the system allows teenagers with no credit history, no assets, and no financial education to take out huge loans instantly. And colleges know it. Since 1983, tuition has jumped 700%, leaving inflation, housing costs, and wages far behind. Total student loan debt now stands at $1.7 trillion, with around 44 million Americans owing an average of $37,000 each. But here's the terrifying part. Student loan delinquencies are rising fast. A year ago, under 1% of borrowers were 90 days behind. Now over 9% are in serious delinquency. And unlike a car or a house, you can't sell your degree if things go wrong. To make it worse, student loans usually cannot be wiped out in bankruptcy. They're financial superglue. Once they stick to you, they stay. And now the ugly debt. Credit cards. Credit card debt isn't just ugly, it's dangerous. Balances have crossed $1 trillion, the highest level ever. Since 2020, credit card debt has jumped 50%, and Americans have added more in 4 years than the entire decade after the 2008 crash. People aren't just spending, they're opening new cards at record speed. Over 600 million credit card accounts now exist in a country with 340 million people. That means the average American is juggling multiple cards and multiple financial headaches. Delinquencies are exploding. More than 12% of accounts are now seriously delinquent, the worst since the 2008 financial crisis. Why? Because expenses shot up. Food, rent, housing, energy, while wages fell behind. And with an average interest rate of 21%, falling behind doesn't just mean being late, it means drowning in compound interest. Then came the new trend: buy now, pay later. Those little buttons that say, pay in 4 installments, pay later with Affirm, split payments with Klarna. It looks modern and convenient. It's actually the same old debt trap wrapped in pastel colors and smooth app design. 15% of Americans used buy now, pay later in 2024. 40% regretted it. 24% made late payments, a sharp rise from last year. People aren't spending because they're financially healthy. They're spending because they're borrowing to survive. When you look at the economy through the lens of debt, the picture changes. The booming stock market, the strong consumer spending, the healthy economic reports, all of it is sitting on borrowed money. America isn't planning for the future. America is funding the present. That's why this credit situation is so dangerous. It's not loud, it's not sudden. It won't explode overnight. It grows silently, every month, every swipe, every missed payment. So yes, the headlines may look strong. Stocks are soaring, inflation is cooling, unemployment is low. But beneath that calm surface, the foundation is starting to crack. Because this is the real America. A country living on debt and hoping nobody notices until it's too late.